This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.
Well, history in the desert. Brock Purdy, the first quarterback from Arizona, will lead a team to the Super Bowl, and that still just makes me shake my head and say, wow, what a story. It's a Hollywood script. Julia Lopez, Nick King here to discuss it, along with some guests that know Brock Purdy well. And Julia, you're our resident Niners fan. What was your reaction to seeing Brock Purdy hoisting the NFC Championship trophy?
Not surprised at all. Just the way that the 49ers have been playing the entire season. They have the most talent. They have the best coaching, offense, defense. They have everything going for them right now. And I'm just so happy and excited for the Valley to witness something like Brock Purdy and just him being able to lead this team when nobody expected it.
Well, and you know, you already got one movie with the Kurt Warner movie. Nick, do we have another movie in progress here that we're seeing? I mean, how it's going to play out in the Super Bowl? That could be a big storyline in Hollywood one day.
Yeah, so many people want to say, he's not Patrick Mahomes, he's not Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers. Like, just take this for what an incredible story it is. Like, the fact that he was the last pick in the draft and forced the Niners to trade what was Trey Lance, the third pick in the draft? I mean, and he is a really, really good quarterback. I actually, last year when they were making the run, thought there were some legit comparisons to Tom Brady. And not to say like he's on track to be the GOAT, but in terms of early in your career, what he's surrounded by and how he fits and what he does for the team, like he is perfect for the 49ers in that offense and makes a lot of great plays, especially in the second half yesterday. Like, game manager, to me, doesn't do justice to what he's doing.
Well, let's talk about the man who was there in the beginning and spotted him back at Perry High School to run his offense. And we're going to get to who plays him in the movie one day. Preston Jones, the former coach at Perry High School. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. How has it been for you watching this movie play out in San Francisco?
It really has. You use the word surreal. It's been crazy, and it's been such a fun ride. I can tell you this is much more enjoyable watching him when you're on the sideline coaching him than it is sitting in your living room or sitting wherever you are watching the game. There's a little bit of there's a lot of nerves, and I've never experienced that before. And it's been a fun experience, obviously, but it's sometimes scary at times. I get a little too into it, I think.
Well, I think everybody in Arizona is just watching this play out and just thinking about what Nick was saying. I mean, this could be another Tom Brady story here going to the Super Bowl. Take us back to Perry High School, 2015, maybe the fall of that. What would you be, a sophomore there? What was it about Brock Purdy that jumped out that made you think, okay, he's going to be our quarterback here?
Obviously, all those intangibles that you can't measure. Those were some of the. I mean, he's an unbelievable quarterback, and he's very talented in his accuracy and just everything. But it's all those things you can't measure. They're so impressive with Brock. Things, the way he's able to process things, the way he's incredibly coachable. When you see him come off the sidelines, whether it's high school, college, or NFL now, he takes coaching and he doesn't take it critically. He takes it as in a learning process, and he wants to be coached. And so when he's corrected, he takes it as a compliment, which sometimes guys in the NFL, those big egos, it's hard for that. And Brock's not like that. But, I think his coachability, his work ethic, his leadership, all those things set him apart from a lot from the other people that don't quite make it.
Preston, I want to hone in on that leadership aspect because you talk about those big egos in the NFL. Like, he's got some dudes, obviously, on that roster, and the George Kittles and Christian McCaffreys and Deebo Samuels. And these guys, for the last year plus now, have talked about how much they believed in him from pretty much the moment he stepped in the huddle before he was even the starter. What do you think it is about his personality that has made it easy for those guys to believe in him, and follow him?
I think the big thing with Brock is he earns that. And like, for example, in high school, if he got on his offensive line for some type of mistake, it was very rare, but it was okay for him to do that because of the respect he had, because of everything he did. Everything he did every day, the way he went about his business, whether it was in the weight room or in the locker room or in the practice field, he did everything correct. He did everything to his best potential. You know, it was 100% everything. So he earned everyone's respect. And you can't get on teammates. You can't point things out. You can't be critical of them unless you've been there, done that type of thing. And he holds himself to such a high standard. And he's such a giving person to those guys. He's earned that relationship to where he can be critical when it's needed. And those guys look at it in a respectful way rather than who's this quarterback, you know, looking down on me. I mean, he doesn't walk around like he's better than anybody else. He treats everyone as they're equal or better than him. He's such a servant leader. You know, you talk about a janitor in the 49ers locker room that cleans that locker room. I promise you, Brock treats him with the utmost respect and is extremely kind and nice to him. And so because of all the relationship building he's done to lead up to those points, people respect it. When he talks and when he says something, they're going to listen and they're not going to take it in a negative way.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle post-game just spoke so highly about Brock after the game and just saying that he deserves to be here. We trust in him, which was so cool to hear. But I want to get back to how you watch the game. You said it gets a little nerve-wracking for you. So how do you watch the game? What's your game day routine to watch Brock Purdy and the Niners hit the field?
To be perfectly honest, I've got a wife and 2 daughters. My daughters are very active, so it's different every week. This week, I watched the first quarter in Higley High School's auditorium watching a dance competition. I watched it on my phone with an earbud in, and then we got back to about halfway through the second quarter and got to watch it on our TV. And so every week, sometimes we're down the road at a place down south. Sometimes we're out in the desert and I'm listening to the radio. So it's never the same at our house. So I don't have necessarily a routine, but I do have a routine of listening intently and paying attention to what's going on. And I got to give a shout out to the broadcasters that do the radio. The play-by-play for the 49ers is amazing. Sometimes I've had unfortunately not being able to see a game because of where we're located and not having a TV. And so I've listened to it. And I tell you what, sometimes that's more enjoyable than actually watching it because those guys are so descriptive and they're so cool to listen to. So we don't have a normal routine, but we do know that we're going to block that time out to somehow, some way we're going to listen or hear it.
Our producer, Joe, who's a big San Francisco fan. Joe, are we able to hear you? We can't hear you back here, but he was just saying it's Greg Papa. So I'm going to do my best Greg Papa where he's like, touchdown, San Francisco. Did that compare at all? No, he's way better than me. Yeah.
That's close. That's close. The other day, a couple weeks ago, the radio station in San Francisco called out and wanted to do an interview. So I was on the radio, and all of a sudden he popped on to ask a question, and I immediately fumbled my answer. Said, "Oh, that's him. That's the voice." Just excited. He's awesome. He's really good.
Well, okay, let's go to that first scene of the movie here because I remember Brock's mad dash against Hamilton in the playoffs. Is that the first scene you think? Is that sort of his breakthrough? Because correct me if I'm wrong. What did he have mono his junior year and wasn't able to play?
Correct. He had mono. We went up to football camp up north, came back, gave him a week off, and then we started school and started our preseason camp and went through about 2 days, and just his weakness, something was wrong, something was off. They went and got him tested, and that's when he had it. So he didn't play in the first 3 games of his junior season. But he still played, I believe, in 10 games and broke crazy records. But the first 3 games he was not able to play. But he got most of his junior season. But again, beginning of the season, his junior year to the end of the season, he got so much stronger and gained weight because of what had happened there at the start.
Well, if I would have told you back then Brock Purdy would be leading the San Francisco 49ers to the Super Bowl, you would have told me what?
I sure hope so. Yeah.
Preston, I've been wanting to ask, earlier this season, you were, I think it was a game in Santa Clara, and you were in the stands and the broadcast got you with the sunglasses. How many text messages did you get about that, and how many times have people shown you that video and sent that video to you?
Well, that introduced me to the Devon. I didn't know what a meme was until so now, like I said, I'm not a big technology guy, so now I know what memes are, and I guess I became a meme, and so people share that every now and then. It'll be on the different betting sites. They'll put that up there. 49ers feeling or something Friday vibes. But my phone eventually the batteries wore out because it wouldn't quit dinging because of the text messages I was getting, and it wasn't because I was cool. I'm the furthest thing from cool. Those are my prescription sunglasses, and I forgot my sunglasses. I'd watch the play, I take them off and look at the big screen, and then I put them back on to watch the play. I had no idea it wasn't staged, but it wasn't because I'm cool. But I don't tell everyone else that.
All right, well, Preston, I feel like Brock Purdy doesn't get the respect that he deserves across social media. I feel like a lot of people are still like, oh, he's not the real deal, all this and that. What do you want to tell the naysayers and just what type of, player he is? Just this is your time to tell people, what they don't get about him.
His actions speak louder than words. I mean, eventually people get it, but there's always going to be naysayers. You can't give them any attention. I mean, just because they have thumbs and fingers, they think that they become experts. There's a lot of experts out there these days, but I try to go through numbers, 300 million people in this country. 1%, that'd be 3 million. I don't think there's 3 million haters. I think maybe, let's say on a big note, maybe 3,000 people that have a negative feeling towards him because they like other people. And that's 0.0001% of our population. So, I mean, who cares? And the people who matter are the ones that make the decisions. And those are the guys that are in his locker room, his current staff, things like that. So he does such an amazing job. How he can, I have no idea how he's so mature at that age. I've always said he's an old soul, mature beyond his years. And he's showing that. Like, I don't get how he's able to everyone says, oh, block it out. But to actually be there and to be able to block that out is an incredible gift that he has. And to not let that get under your skin, it just takes mental resilience, just mental toughness. And he's got that. That's one of his strengths. Luckily, I mean, to be a kicker or a quarterback in the NFL, you better have something different up here. And he has that, which we're so thankful for.
All right, in the movie, who plays you?
Hopefully someone a lot better looking. I'm hoping maybe Brad Pitt. I don't know. I don't know many names of actors, but Brad Pitt always comes out as a good-looking guy. But I got no idea. But that would be fun to think about.
All right, I like McConaughey potentially.
I say Tim McGraw.
Oh yes, Tim McGraw. Does that work?
Absolutely. I think I'm probably.
I like Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott.
We brought in a
He's
friend.
Got the mustache. He's got the mustache going.
That's the new look for the month. Yeah.
All right, and so for our viewers, we have David Klecka on the phone, administrator at Perry High in 16 and 17. You guys worked pretty handily together. On a daily basis out there?
I would like to think I was administrator. I was just one of his assistant coaches, and I think Preston and I have built a relationship. I've known him for about 30 years, but we probably talk about 30 times a day.
So what was yesterday like?
Oh, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was just Preston and I always talk about how surreal it is. And just, you're sitting there in awe because I grew up watching Danny White, Joe Montana, and here I am sitting at a 49er game watching Brock Purdy.
Hey, real quick, we're going to hit pause. Could you turn on the video on your phone?
No, hell no. You don't want me to.
Actually, we'll keep that part in.
Hey, just put a picture up of Brad Pitt, and that's who they called in.
Oh yeah, it still says Klecka's phone, and if that works, that'll work. I don't know if it's the Bay Area's.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. Well, we'll just go then, and if it turns on, it turns on. But yeah, and Preston, when you need to drop out, feel free to, because I know we only got 10 minutes here. But I guess the two of you, I mean, what are some of those texts like? Do you find yourself saying, yeah, we could see this, or is it just more of disbelief?
I would say the text messages start about 4:35 a.m. and it always starts with, "Can you believe this? Can you believe we're even talking about this? Or did you see that? And hey, so and so, like some celebrity tweeted out about Brock," and we just laugh about it.
Do you guys almost feel like proud parents of him for as long as you've known him?
Well, Preston's more of the dad. I'm the brother. I'm the pain in the ass brother.
No, it's yeah, you definitely, there's a lot of pride. And I remember last year when he made that run and they're going to the championship, ESPN came out to the school and did this big interview, and they set up the lights and they put us out on the football field and they asked a question and immediately, boom, tears. I was like, where did this come from? Why is this happening? You know, it was crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of pride. I can't imagine, you know, I talked to Chubba last week. You know, he came down and had a burrito before he's leaving for college. And he said, Coach, can you believe we were just trying to play for a state championship a few years ago. Now he's trying to go to the Super Bowl. And it's just crazy how fast it all happens.
So what do you think, and we'll let you go on this, Preston, because I know you got to get going. What do you think it's going to take to beat the Chiefs 2 Sundays from now? You
know, as any coach would say, obviously the turnover battle is going to be huge, but somehow, some way, Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense is crazy good. You're not going to stop them, but you just got to slow them down, and hopefully you can get a turnover and try to flip that. You know, get an extra possession in the game, because the NFL is so possession oriented that those every single one counts. So if you can just make them punt a few times and try to get a turnover, I think that they'll have a legit shot, and so excited. But yeah, stop them a couple times, make them punt a few times, 2, 3, and get a turnover, and we should be okay.
You should have been coaching the Lions yesterday. But hey, thanks so much for your time. We're going to hang out here with David a little longer, but we know you got to go. So, hey, really appreciate you always making time for us here on Arizona's Family.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Preston.
All right, David, who should play him in the movie?
Who should play Preston?
Yeah, and who should play you?
Well, who should play me? I would probably say Denzel should play me, or a younger Schwarzenegger. But I think both of those might be off the table. But
what about Nick King?
He's way too good looking to play me. Jeez Louise. Man. How about Ian Schwartz? Ian Schwartz can play me.
Yes. Oh, my God.
That's a man who knows football.
So, no, here's a great Ian Schwartz, Brock Purdy story.
Okay.
So I got married in October 2 years ago, and Ian was the officiant to my wedding.
Oh, wow.
And I know, we prayed. My wife's like, are you sure you want to do this? So we had about 150 people there, and Preston was there. The Purdys were there, several people I've worked with throughout the years. And Ian's up there doing his thing, and he's very serious. Like, I've never seen Ian nervous. And so Ian gets up there today, or, we're gathered today, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, but I got to tell everybody in the audience, I did not think David would marry a woman. And everybody went, oh, my gosh, where's this guy going with it? And Ian goes, I always thought he was going to marry Brock Purdy.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is at my wedding.
Oh, man.
So.
All right, so you're a good guy to, the whole Brock Purdy story, and, you've been there for every step. What's the first scene of the movie?
First scene of the movie is Brock and Chubba are probably 8 and 6, and they're playing football, playing catch behind an outfield fence where their dad is playing softball. And they're throwing passes and going deep and this and that. Well, Chubba throws the ball, Brock runs and catches it, and he runs into the outfield fence, and he knocks it over, the entire outfield fence. Brock runs and hides, and Chubba is left standing there like he did it.
That actually happened?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. and I think the other thing is Brock, he's such a good kid. Coaching them, I had Brock and Chubba out there at the same time at practices. And like I said, I coached the running backs, but Preston only ran the ball one play a game. So I hung out with the quarterbacks. And so Chubba came out to practice one day, and you wear your normal practice outfit clothes. Well, Chubba had a brand new button-down long-sleeve shirt on underneath his pads. And Chubba had forgotten T-shirt to wear under. So he comes running out, and if you know Chubba, he's always smiling. No matter what, he's always smiling. And Brock goes, Chubba, you need to go in right now, and you need to take that shirt off because Mom is going to be mad. and that's how things went. You know, like Brock would always text me when Chubba was playing quarterback on the JV. He'd text me from the stands, Chubba's stats, and Chubba's doing this, and he's always looking out for his brother. And that's what I always think about him. He's a mother hen to his younger brother. He cares about him. He wants nothing but the best, but he's not afraid to tell him, hey, man, you can't be doing that. And Chubba listens.
What was it like being in that stadium yesterday and in the second half? I mean, on TV, it felt like extremely loud, like environment-wise, and to be looking around and seeing all these people that know and love Brock, and that he's, you know, the piece, one of the big pieces in creating this raucous energy in there.
Well, all you see is Purdy jerseys everywhere, and that's even really hard to even accept. It's just crazy to see that. But you know, after you buy 2 beers for $50, you kind of feel like you own part of the place. And we were kind of lower level there, so we could see the excitement. There were a lot of Lions fans. I'll give them that. There were a ton of them there. But it just I would get chills. Joe Montana was down there. I mean, you just see these people. Jerry Rice. It really makes you appreciate what Brock has done in a way that he's still Brock. You know, I went and saw him a week after the Philly game last year. He was in Gilbert at his house, and I came in the house, and his mom goes, oh, he's in that room. And this is a week after I would have felt like one of the most devastating injuries in your career. And he's in there playing a video game with Chubba, who is in Lincoln. They were doing it virtual, and they were hunting an elk. And I said, this is a game? I mean, you're walking around, and he's like, oh, this is just a way for me to kind of just escape. And Chubba's, you know, making fun of it and laughing, but you have like a bow, and you're out there, and you're like, I'm not a hunter, but you scout. I mean, talk about just boring. But that's what he does.
And that's kind of, we were talking, that's kind of like the thing about him is that all this success, that he hasn't changed. You saw him after the game at a restaurant, and it's just, he's going to the Super Bowl, and he's still kind of same old chill Brock Purdy, huh?
Yeah, he had his chicken tenders waiting for him. He sat down next to me at the bar, and we look up, and ESPN is doing the NFC Championship highlights. And I mean, that's just, my wife's like, we're sitting here, and he's on TV. And but you can tell he's learned a lot on how to handle that kind of stuff. It was upstairs at this restaurant that was reserved, and people were sneaking up there. And I get it. Hell, I would sneak up too if I could. And he handles it well. Like, he knows, he appreciates where he's at, and he's never rude to anybody. But like standing in the concourse with his fiance yesterday, I think it was halftime, and a complete stranger walks up to her and says, Jenna, can I get a photo with you? And she's like, absolutely. You know, just complete strangers. I'm sure Mark gets that all the time. But
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just April's husband. That's my claim to fame. That's all it is. Yeah. Just messing around, watching sports here while she's doing the real work.
Oh, yeah. Not even serious business, but yeah.
So we talked about who plays you in the movie. You say Denzel, but who plays Brock? And I mean, seriously, like, is there some talk of documentary? Is there some talk of, you know, how this story is going to be told, especially if the chapter is a victory in the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, I've already had some people that, you know, work in the media in Arizona say, hey, Klecka, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write the book now. And I'm like, hey, you know what? Not a bad idea. And then maybe someone will jump on that. And I think as far as someone that would play him, you know, at Mesa High, I work with Anthony Robles, right? He's my wrestling coach.
Yeah.
And what they're doing in movies now is like Anthony's his own stunt guy, and then they're just putting the face of the actor on his face.
Really?
So Brock could actually be his own guy. And then as far as acting, there's probably some up and comer that we don't even know about yet that'll be his big break. But, I mean, it's all the guys I watch are all getting old, so it wouldn't even make sense to say Mark Wahlberg or something.
Jacob Uvalde is like one of the big names that are popping up
I
everywhere.
wouldn't know him. Yeah, I stopped with like Kiefer Sutherland. That's the
right.
You know, the tall one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get you back on to talk Anthony Robles. It seems like you're the buddy to all the movie star athletes here in Arizona, and anybody who spends time with you.
Robles, man. Jeez Louise, we got to talk about that. I mean, he just came back. He wrapped his shoot with Affleck. J-Lo's playing his mom. I mean, it's going to be unbelievable.
Is it J-Lo's his mom?
No,
Yeah, in the movie. Yes.
Wow.
It is unbelievable.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
We gotta get him. Maybe we'll just have everybody here in studio and try to get.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than driving across the country, I would enjoy that better.
Okay. That sounds great. And we called Julia Lopez J-Lo here. Maybe you can get the other J-Lo. We can get the two together here.
Hey, right?
Does
I'm
that
telling you, it's crazy.
Yeah. We are going to get you a new phone.
Bowl,
yeah.
Are you going to go to the Super Bowl?
Oh, yeah. There's no way. Brock gets 2 tickets. He's giving them to his mom and dad, and then, you can buy others for your. I mean, geez, I don't have that kind of money, but yeah, it's ridiculous. So, no, I'll probably be in Ahwatukee with my wife watching it with just the 2 of us and our dog, because it's hard to watch a game with people that want to have fun. And, you're like, no, let me watch this play.
Yeah.
And, they want to talk and stuff. So it's hard.
Well, we appreciate your time. I mean, what a story, and thanks for helping us tell it here. And we're trying to do as many days of Brock Purdy as possible leading up to the Super Bowl. So if you, any other players, if anybody's ever had a conversation with him, gotten in a traffic accident with Ian Schwartz. Is Ian Schwartz going to do his wedding, by the way, Brock Purdy's? You think you could set that up?
Oh, I'm telling you, that would be hilarious. But you got to bring Ian in. Ian knows nothing about football, but he knows who Brock Purdy is.
Yes. He's part of Arizona's family, and so is Brock Purdy, and so are you. So this has been a classic conversation. We should make this a regular segment.
Right. Hey, anytime. I'm always available.
Awesome. Well, hey, safe travels back from the Bay Area, and look forward to seeing your posts here Super Bowl Sunday.
You got it. Take care.
Go Niners.
Awesome. All right, so Julia says go Niners. I mean, let's we could do Super Bowl predictions, but we want to process that real quick. I mean, the story keeps getting better.
No, man. I seriously can't imagine what it is like for them. Nonetheless, Sean and Kerry Purdy and Chubba just sitting there watching like this guy that they coached in high school that struggled to get recruited, and he's going up against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It really is.
He kind of reminds me of Josh Allen a little bit. I know we covered him growing, like when he was going through Firebaugh, smaller town, and then just making it big, but obviously like different journeys and everything. But he wasn't recruited. Fresno State didn't even want him out of high school.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why?
Like he had to go the junior college route,
And they
get
still
to
didn't want
Wyoming, and then go on.
Okay, but like after his junior year, everybody was on him, right? At
Josh?
Wyoming. I remember he played Oregon and didn't go well, and was like, well, there goes his draft stock.
Yeah, after Wyoming it went up, but after like right out of high school, like he wanted to play at Fresno State. He wanted to be a Bulldog, and they said you could be a walk-on.
Was
he grew so much too. He was just kind of a
But he had
late
an arm.
bloomer. He did, but I think he was like 5'11" or something his senior year, if I remember correctly.
Was he really? What is he now, like 6'4"?
He's 6'5", like 260.
Yeah. Wow. That just shows. I mean, all these guys
Those
that
are the guys you root for, though.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
Those
this
underdog
is
stories.
right. I mean, if Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl for the Niners, where does this rank as far as great Arizona sports stories, in your opinions?
Holy moly. It stinks because it's not an Arizona team that he's playing with, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was the Cardinals, it would be like number one everywhere.
Right.
But I still think, like, absolutely, it's up there. I'd say one.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks, obviously winning a World Series is up there too. I'd say 1, 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably haven't been here long enough to accurately answer that. And I think like that's a great point, that if it was one of the local teams, and in this case it would have to be the Cardinals since it's the NFL, that would be the game changer. But for people like us who just kind of cover the whole scene from high school on up, I don't know. There's not much cooler for me than watching someone that you covered in high school or low-level college, like, play in a Super Bowl, but just make it big and be able to see kind of the full story, which is exactly what we're talking to these folks today.
Right. And I mean, you think about the Kurt Warner story, and it's just very similar. I mean, it came out of nowhere. You know, there seems like there was some divine intervention. I would say that's 1 and 1A right there. And Kurt Warner, you know, they didn't win the Super Bowl. Suns didn't win an NBA Finals. The Diamondbacks didn't win a World Series this last fall. So I would probably put Luis Gonzalez's base hit 1. Cardinals coming up short in the Super Bowl. Suns coming up short in the NBA Finals. 2A. Coyotes going to the Western Conference Finals. Sun Devils losing the Rose Bowl when they could have won a national championship. That's all in the mix, and it's a fascinating discussion for another podcast, perhaps, where we have like a board where we rank stuff. What do you think?
I like it.
Now, there's something you didn't like, though, that you wanted to discuss, Julia, that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like getting put on the spot.
Let's get something off J-Lo's chest here.
Do we have audio of it?
I think Joe back there. Hold on, we can't hear from. If we unplug that microphone, can we hear from Joe? Oh, it's Julia's microphone. Okay, so.
Super cool.
Really quick before we go, a little birdie told me you're not so happy about Taylor Swift going to the Super Bowl.
Who said that?
I don't know. I don't name my sources.
Wasn't me.
That is an absolute terrible thing to say. No, that was wrong. No, that is absolutely wrong.
Okay. Well, I love to see it.
I wonder who said that. Was it you, Michael?
No,
was
Nick
it
King.
our producer,
Nick
Justin?
King.
Nick. Oh.
Nick King. We gotta
There
go.
you
I'm getting it out there. Sorry, Nick.
Bye.
See you later.
I'm staying out of this one.
Wow.
Is there
Just
a bus
throw
that
me.
just?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Throw me under
Raimondi's
the
thrown
bus.
me under the bus twice in the last 2 days.
But coming from Nick King, we're supposed to be teammates here. What happened?
Is it not
what
true?
What did I do to you?
Is it not true?
It is not true, because I want to just tell everybody, you're trying to get the Swifties after me and like bring the army on and like attack mode. But no, I want to say I respect Taylor Swift with everything, and I want to like be very clear about this. Music is super personal, it's super therapeutic, it's an amazing thing. Everybody has their outlets. Would I pay thousands of dollars to see her in concert live? No, I wouldn't, but I do appreciate and respect her music and what she does with, you know, just her like creativity and everything that she's like been through. I respect that, but I don't know. Like, she's gotten me probably through a breakup once in my life. You know, the Bad Blood song was awesome. That was phenomenal. But just to, I don't know. I do think that she is doing a good thing for the game of football, getting more female eyes on the sport, and maybe, you know, bringing in some more fans. That's cool.
Well, let's dig in now, Nick.
But you
Why
weren't
would you?
thrilled about seeing her making out with Travis Kelce after the game.
What did I say? I would love to hear this.
Do we have the audio of that? Did you?
I believe it was an audible groan.
A groan?
Yeah. Maybe
for those like maybe like 5-year-old girls that are like watching TV. But no, I thought it was actually really cute, and I am a romantic at heart. Thank you very much. And I hope it works out between, you know, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. But you never know with these things. I just feel like it's really cool what she is doing and bringing in, you know, viewership that, you know, a lot of these women wouldn't be watching these games. So it's pretty cool.
It is nice that she's bridging the gap. I am tired of seeing them on TV.
How many times? How many times is too many times?
Well, that's the thing. But I'm tired of it. But every time they show her, I'm like, well, what's she doing now? Was Jason there? Well, who else? And like, you're like pausing the TV. I'm like, why do I care? I don't even know any of her songs.
I think it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, and I don't think it's. I think it's silly that people are getting worked up about it. It's like a 3.5-hour broadcast that she shows up for like 20 seconds total. And just because it's generally only after, at least lately, maybe early on it was more, but lately it's pretty much just when Travis Kelce scores. He scores a lot of touchdowns.
Oh, he's scoring. He scored on after the game on the field, and yeah.
In life.
It's, you know, it's not a big deal.
All right.
in my estimation.
So is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce making out on the field after the Super Bowl, or is Brock Purdy's Hollywood script complete and we can write the book and start the movie?
I am all for Brock Purdy holding that.
Well, you are a Niners
Lombardi
fan.
trophy.
I'm not betting against Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, but as cool as the Lions story was, I think this matchup pretty much guarantees that it's going to be a great Super Bowl. I would be stunned if it's a blowout one way or the other.
My concern is the Niner defense and what the Lions were able to do. And I think the Lions offense gave the game away going forward on 4th down. So I will pick Chiefs. And I will be stunned because they've been there, they've done that. If Brock Purdy is at all not on his game, I think it's going to be a long day for the Niners. But I would like to see the Brock Purdy story complete, and we can just show all of our archive video for the next 6 months.
The Niners defense has so much talent, though. When you actually look at it, they just got to figure it out.
Right.
And it's you got to figure out against Patrick Mahomes. But I don't know. But when you also look at the 49ers offense, they have so many weapons. Like Brock has so many weapons to throw to. And when they played each other in 2020, it's a completely different team. They had Jimmy G. They had Mostert, and I think like none of those guys are there anymore. So this is a completely different 49ers team, and I feel like Christian McCaffrey is going to be the MVP of the Niners winning the Super Bowl.
I could see that happening as well. All the weapons. All right. Well, so we've accomplished a lot today. Are you guys good?
We're gonna have to talk about it off the mics.
Yes. All right, and then jump back on the mics because this podcast is really going places. All right, so we'll be back here as much as we can. If you've ever known somebody who's accidentally swiped shoulders with Brock Purdy, let us know. We'll interview them. And it's the Niners and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl right here on Arizona's Family, CBS 5 and 2 Sundays.
This is The Extra Point, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast, sponsored by your Phoenix Suns.